This episode of PreGame Podcast is sponsored by Crane Financial. Crane Financial is a 100% virtual tax service. The process is simple, stress-free, and secure. Signing up is easy. Just text, all caps, Crane Tax. That's CRANETAX to 85100. Once again, just text, all caps, Crane Tax, CRANETAX to 85100. Respond yes to receive a link to the secure client portal where you can upload your tax documents and relevant tax information. Use the referral code PreGame. Support our community by filing your taxes with Crane Financial. Next.
This is Dr. Danielle Richardson, founder of Fierce Clarity, and you are now tuned in to the PreGame Podcast. Bless the bottle. Next.
You're now listening to Season 5, Episode 22. We got a very special guest.
Legend in the house.
Superstar in the studio.
Legend in the
house. Look at the glasses. This is crazy.
She's happy to be here.
Sure.
I'm so happy to be here.
Indeed, man. We got D. Rich.
so
I'm going to give
happy to
D.
be
Rich a round of applause.
Dr.
D. Rich.
Rich.
Dr. D. Rich. The doc in the building for sure.
Yes.
Shout out to all the black doctors.
Big schooling.
Yeah.
Indeed. Lots of school. But listen, man, so we're going to be here talking about Fierce Clarity. But before we get started, let's make sure that we jump right into the pregame pop quiz.
Pop quiz.
Before that, because I always fuck up, please make sure you tell the people where they can find you.
Hey, everybody. It is Dr. Danielle, the legend formerly known as D. Rich.
Hey.
D. Rich is dead. R.I.P.
Oh, shit.
We
Oh,
miss
wow.
that girl. But Dr. Danielle here. You can find me on Instagram at Fierce Clarity. You can come find me at fierceclarity.com. And if you need an eye exam, you can come find me in LA at ZachEyes.com.
All right. Now, if y'all
That's a
traveling
long
to
trip
LA,
for an eye
shout
exam.
out.
But it's the best one you're ever going to get.
There you go.
Noted.
That's real. I have to make that move
For sure.
one day. All right, man. Let's get into the pregame pop quiz.
First.
Go ahead. This is what you got.
All
man.
right, so you are a doctor of optometry.
Yes.
If you could be a doctor of anything else, what would it be?
Doctor
You've been planning that one.
Fire.
He was
Doctor
ready.
of Leisure. I wish I didn't have to do it. I think if I had to be another type of doctor, it would probably be like a psychotherapist or like a psychiatrist or something
okay.
like that.
I
I
see
think
that.
it would be cool to unpack, you know what I mean, what's going on in people's lives.
I'm with it.
Especially after the pandemic.
That's real, man.
Oh, I'm bad.
Price is sky high.
Niggas are
You
Yeah.
can talk now? Come on.
I'm on my way. Where you
It's
at?
like, send me that invoice.
Yes.
I don't know. The plexiglass with the seat in between is probably not as far as it used to be.
No,
Well, I
not.
think it's like the Joker. Like, what somebody crazy comes in there?
You know, I think it's the
security.
same thing with patients. You know, you have to treat people who maybe, you know, it's kind of like an ethics thing, right? Like no matter what, there's this bigger responsibility of the job that requires you to like show up, even if someone's insane.
That's Dr.
In
Talk.
the PC
That's
bag.
Doc speak.
Yeah, that was clean.
So how many people are you thinking about killing tomorrow?
Only so 3. Okay.
But you know, I think
just,
like
you're going to the Walmart.
Are you included?
screaming.
Thought about Target?
What time?
That's what
I'm not writing it down. I'm just,
Just taking notes. All right. I'll go next.
Go.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite thing about Nap? I feel like you've traveled to a lot of different places in your career. What's your favorite thing about coming home to the city of Indianapolis?
I think my favorite thing about Indianapolis is really that it's home. You know what I mean? It's like everywhere has a memory attached to it, has a thing. And there's stuff you, like we went over, Nikki and Marshall's, their son had a birthday party and they had Donatos. And it's like, oh, bruh. Like,
Donatos is fire.
so it's like, I think just what I really love most about it is all of those elements, right? Donatos, the fair, like 38th Street even, just all of that
Real nigga.
stuff that's a part of
Near and dear to
being
my
in it.
heart.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's nice to be home and to be like back in that. And then you see all your friends and you see everyone, and it's cool that you can kind of see like this next generation of Indianapolis kids growing up too. So I like that it feels like home.
Young
Start.
wild niggas out here.
Yeah.
It's the place to be, man.
It's nice. You know, I saw on, we always go to Public Greens in Broad Ripple whenever I'm in town, and they had like a gender neutral bathroom. And I said, turn up, man.
progressive.
Okay.
Progressive
I think
drill.
that's been
Yeah.
posted. I saw somebody else post that. So yeah,
All right,
Yeah,
for
I was
sure.
like,
Progression is very
okay,
real.
okay.
Man.
they got the only one in the city.
Right.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And you
Don't
know what?
say that
I
too loud.
appreciate that. Like my vibe is that my mom already knows that's the spot I want to get down at.
You know what it is. You
What
know
do you
we going.
get from Public Greens? I've always seen it, but I've never been like, oh, let me go.
I think I went once.
What do I get from Public Greens? A lot of different stuff. I mean, it depends on the time of day. But
Gotcha.
they have, I eat very healthy. So lots of salads, lots of bowls.
That's the
Still.
farm fresh spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I went to
But
one
they also have
downtown
like,
maybe.
so it's like Patachu's philanthropic arm. So it's not like, maybe it is a 1-for-1 model. Like if you buy a meal, like a meal goes to like they sponsor like a public school meal or something like.
Oh, damn,
that's why it's
okay.
called Public Greens. So it's like a community service based organization that also is like farm fresh food.
You
That's
get your
tight.
acai bowl and the little
You
kid
know,
gets a little
exactly.
Right,
rectangle
gets a
pizza.
little-
Oh, when I went there
you
with
know
my
what I mean?
cousins, I
The little you
got
did.
they had hot apple
You feel me?
cider. They had like bourbon apple cider, which was like a cute
that
little
sounds
moment. And
fire.
we had some fries. My cousin got a tofu burger. She said it was nasty.
Tofu is never the move anymore.
It's never the move. I tell people that all the time. It's like, bro, just be a vegetarian or not.
just leave it alone. The
Come
fake,
on.
stuff is damn near
Just-
worse for you,
Make a
calorie
decision.
wise.
Come on.
It's not that
Make a
good.
decision.
It's
I got a
really,
question.
really, really processed.
If you could have one person walk into your yoga class, not named Beyonce, because I know she's first. If you was picking, who would you have walk in?
She said
Kris
blue
Jenner.
because Beyonce
Kris
coming with
Jenner.
Kris Jenner.
Oh,
for
you
sure.
trying to be a
Why
star.
Chris?
For
She's a
sure.
legend, man. She'll get enough respect, but why?
She turned
Why?
into
Period.
a
I mean, I just stand like I think I've always really like stand bossed up women, and it's like what she built.
She built an empire.
I mean, my God,
crazy.
you have to think she started with Bruce. She's like, Bruce, you're being a bum. Okay,
Yeah.
we need to get you
We
up.
need more.
You know,
Right.
and I mean,
You're not
just
giving
to
us
go,
enough no more.
to
Those
go
medals have
from-
dust
Fuck
on
them
them.
medals. Nobody
Yeah.
cares
Right,
about
but
them.
to take your husband who's kind of like flailing in his career and go from that to American royalty
Sure.
is iconic.
Facelift.
And actually, this chiropractor center reached out to me to teach some yoga classes. That's why I'm getting back. I'm teaching a rooftop yoga class. Shout out to Joshin Wellness Center. But anyway, I looked
Fierce.
on their Instagram, and who was a follow? Kris Jenner.
Oh.
I was like, yeah, this is.
Oh, you're manifesting.
You're manifesting.
We're gonna
right now.
manifest.
Make it happen,
Yeah.
man.
I like
I
that.
just because I also when I went to On the Run, actually I saw her and Mariah Carey. So we had like
She
floor
just kicks
seats.
with Mariah Carey.
No, it was like in the
Oh.
VIP, So we have floor seats, but it wasn't popping. But then they had like the stage for like the people who were popping. It's On the Run in LA, so like everybody's coming out, right?
Right.
But the energy of like Kris Jenner and Mariah Carey was like, damn, like they really are that. You know what I mean? Like they don't even amongst these stars, they look
stood out.
just
Yeah.
like
For sure.
there was something about it, and I was like, that's sick. I want to see it up close. Like this has been close enough, but I want to see what it looks like when
When we're doing yoga.
this close to you.
Shout out to Beyonce. The stars
tight,
go see
man.
her.
Chris
I mean,
Jones.
period.
The stars go see
They got
Beyonce.
to like, oh,
Mariah
Beyonce's in
Carey
town.
was
I
like,
mean,
you get your ticket, nigga? Because
Can
I'm
you
going.
imagine? Everybody was pulling up, and I didn't know Kenya Barris at the time. He was so icy. I was like, oh my god,
Just like
Like-
Black as fuck. Was-
literally, that dude is really like that. I'm like, oh, and then my ex-boyfriend, he was like, oh, that's Kenya Barris. I'm like, Kenya Barris.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that
you
nigga?
created Blackish.
Blackish. Blackish the shit too.
But I mean, dang, it was like he had his biggest chains out.
I didn't know
Everybody
until
was
Black
like,
as fuck came out. I was like, oh, this is him.
Yeah.
Tight.
Hey,
Yeah, I know his name. I didn't know what
I
he
know
looked
this
like.
brother.
He kind of stole my nap-centric question. I'll take it back. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, read
Classic.
minds.
Oh, out the gate. That
That's
was
a
easy.
little evil to that too. Though.
Ooh,
Yeah, she said,
come
"Whoa,
on.
these niggas."
But that
That's
goes with the
the best
psychotherapy
one.
thing too a little
Thinking.
bit.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you could read someone's mind, it's.
I feel like-
I want it to be invisible. But somebody debated me down about invisibility one time. It's like, bro, but is everything you touch invisible? So like, you invisible, but your purse is not.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, that'd be.
That's a good question.
Like, how do I put the money in the
Somebody's
duffel
in
bag?
here.
Is the duffel bag still showing?
There's a whole outfit over there, but ain't nothing wearing it. What the fuck is this?
So, but yeah, read minds because there is a little bit of evilness to it, but you
Smidge.
just never, you never tell people what's up. You could, if you wanted to be nefarious and like rob people, they'd be like, you could just say like, oh, I wonder what the passcode to the safe is, and immediately
Start
somebody would
thinking
think about it. It's like, ding.
For sure. So criminal.
Damn, it is evil.
I didn't even
Very,
think of it
very
that way.
criminal,
That's evil.
man.
I'm robbing motherfuckers too.
Indeed.
I mean, if you wanted to go that route,
I
but
would.
you know,
Why-
would also
I
be
would.
nice.
Why
You
not?
could-
Those are your powers. Use them.
I feel like you're just not
Gotta
gonna
be
find
who
a
you
lot of
are.
positive thoughts though. You're not gonna really find anybody really being happy.
Also, evil world we living
Yeah,
in.
it's not.
You
It's
see
an evil
couples
world
walking
we
down the
living
street.
in.
Oh, I hate this nigga. I
Right.
can't stand this bitch.
Yeah.
there's
Oh my
some-
gosh. Imagine. Oh wow. Like the unintended consequences, right? Just hearing all the fuck. Or, wait.
Absolutely.
Go
Okay.
crazy.
Cuss,
Go
cuss.
crazy.
It's raunchy on here.
Explicit.
Your
Explicit
parents
content.
all different. It's bad.
Yeah, for sure.
My dad don't even like my mom.
Does
No,
that conclude the
seriously.
pregame pop quiz?
I believe
Yes.
it
Let's
does.
give another round of applause
Thank
for
you guys. That was
Dr. Dan
fun. Thanks
Richardson.
for having me. This
That's
is
an
so fun.
icebreaker,
I'm
if you will.
excited.
Indeed.
Ice broken.
Very good. So we're here to talk about Fierce Clarity.
Yes.
Which I'm super excited about. You actually guys have on the merch right now.
Yes.
Ask,
Gang,
believe,
gang.
receive.
Gang, gang.
Okay, there's
Ask,
3.
believe,
Shout out to
receive.
Carol Looks in the
Kiara
building as
looks
well.
in the building.
So it's a special episode. So what is Fierce Clarity all about?
Yeah, so Fierce Clarity is my holistic health and wellness company where our primary intention is to empower professionals to live happier and healthier lives. And that's kind of like the most simple version of it. But we do that through feeling-focused yoga classes, through wellness retreats and events, and an emphasis on preventative care.
Gotcha.
So it's really about taking us out of this like rat race mindset and really thinking about ourselves holistically as like a mind, body, and soul. And so kind of just adding the metaphysical element to health and wellness and bringing that to the forefront is really what it's all about.
That's awesome. So how did this ideology come about? When were you like, okay,
Yeah.
I need to
I
actually
mean, y'all
turn my
knew
way
me
of
in
thinking into a
college.
business?
Y'all knew me.
I did. I did.
I mean, I was a very fiery person. I was just very turned up, and I just was,
Shout out to the
I
Night
had
Riders.
Some moments there.
them Night Riders.
That beret would have been fire in the Night Rider.
I mean,
Night
every time I wear a
wow.
hat, this is a real TBT. Every time I wear a hat, shout out to Yusuf, I always think of tall tees and LeBrons and a Janet Jackson hat. And
Classic
just-
bar.
Wow.
Classic
wow.
bar.
I mean,
And it resulted in bloodshed.
wow, can you believe the melee? Like the mayhem.
Game of Thrones, man.
Just
Way before Game
one
of
bar that no one man
Crazy.
should have all that power.
You would have sworn there was a sword in the building that night. Somebody had swore it that night.
Like, truly.
What happened to
Truly,
Fatback? For
truly.
They
sure.
wanted to make it
man.
pay the iron price, and it was a lot.
serious,
The
man.
best part of the story is that he got away.
No, unscathed. Just
Did
Yeah,
not
crazy.
stand on him.
They did that.
It needs to be a movie, honestly.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'll watch that bitch.
Yes.
yes.
Bro, people died.
No, but I think I already, had my experience in undergrad. I was really hard on myself and really wanted to be successful. And so I went to optometry school right after undergrad, and I was just miserable in school, right? It sucked. I hated it. I was like, wow, I do not want to do this for my whole life. And like, I just was, just really miserable and unhappy. And I think like, as all of us are in those early 20s figuring it
Right.
out, we're coping with partying, with going out, and just, living a really, really unhealthy lifestyle. So all of that living kind of caught up with me, and I just was really sick, and I needed to get better. And what many doctors had kind of told me was that I was ill from stress. Like, stress was the main causative factor, and so that stress modification needed to be the focus, right? Reducing stress, why don't you try yoga? And so that was when I was in my last year of optometry school, and that kind of led me to Bali and then to Costa Rica, and then just kind of this whole
you've been
developmental.
places.
Yeah.
Sure.
So actually, after optometry school, I went to Bali for a month by myself just because I had just started getting into yoga. I was in New York at the time. I was partying. I was turning up, and I was like, look, I want to peace. Like, I want to relax. I want to do yoga, and like, I want to also go to a place that's like more brown than it is anything else. And I just want to,
brown.
be at peace. And when I was in Bali, literally within 2 weeks of being there, I was doing yoga, eating a plant-based diet, walking, no drinking, nothing at all like that. All of my health conditions cleared up, like everything.
crazy.
And I'm like, wait, what just happened here? In 2 weeks, I'm seeing results that I couldn't get in 3.5 years.
That'll fuck your head
And
up.
so and what was really shocking to me was the yoga I was doing was not hard yoga. It was not high intensity. It wasn't all like
basics.
power yoga. Literally like
Down facing dog.
sleeping.
Like this.
not even sometimes.
Really?
Just like stretching and taking a nap, kind
Wow.
of.
I'm
And I
great
was
at yoga.
just
That's
like,
great.
right?
I'm
That's what I
an
say.
expert.
That's what I always
You had a
say.
spiritual
Yoga
journey.
is for everybody, okay? Yoga is for
The nap
everybody.
portion, that's for me.
But I
do
mean,
that.
I
witnessing
pay to see.
Yeah.
witnessing
Oh, for sure.
Do it
that.
down. Control your
It's time
breathing,
to
bro.
Patreon.
Wait, I'm dead.
I got 5 on it.
I'm dead.
For sure.
Control your breathing, bro.
VIP level
When are you
content.
leaving town?
Tomorrow
You got
morning.
an extra hour for him?
No, she
Right.
doesn't. I'm not ready.
I'm gonna teach you guys some yoga stuff before I go.
I'll type.
But
Okay,
I will
good.
say Fierce Clarity was born out of that experience, right? Recognizing and witnessing for myself that when I actually focused on healing from like a mind, body, soul perspective, that yielded results that like just focusing on the physical symptoms did not. And so then I just knew I wanted to do this for work, right? I want to be able to talk about like energy and health and healing as a part of my job. And so that's what inspired me to like create a business around like metaphysical wellness, really.
That's crazy.
What was the support system? Because, I mean, you were an adult at the time, but after optometry school, you're like, hey, guys, I'm about to go to Bali for a sabbatical.
Yeah,
I know
like,
I
what?
just finished school, but I'll catch y'all later.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, everybody thought I was crazy.
Yes.
Everyone was like, what?
Naturally.
Like,
Yeah, for
bro,
sure.
what?
As a person that saw you at the end of optometry school, like she's in here working, I'm like, she just did so much work, and she's maybe she's burnt out. It has to be because
I mean, it was burnout, you know? I mean, I think it's like when you're in school, you sprint, rest. But it's like when you're in professional school, the sprint is a lot harder and a lot longer. And also, I just felt, you know, that there were only a few career options presented to me, right? You can go work in this type of place or this type of place. You can work 6 days a week and pay your student loans back. Like the prospects even were just, I didn't even want to do it.
Yeah, buyer's remorse.
So yeah, I mean, I had buyer's remorse my second year in school, but it's like, if you ever think I'm going to take out this much student loan debt and not get the degree, you're out of your mind.
got me fucked up.
Period. When people were dropping out of optometry school, I was like, fumbled bag.
You're going to be broke and blind, goofy.
who's gonna pay for this? What are
Like,
you
come
doing?
science
on,
teachers
come
now.
on.
Because it's still
But-
All
calling for
this
the
money,
money.
and you don't have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
You know, the cool thing is like my path, right? Like it used to be so separate, right? I do this like kind of weird yoga stuff on the side, but I'm a doctor.
That's
you
weird.
know? And so
Yeah,
I used
we
to
know
keep
that.
it so separate, but you know, with
understand.
each job and with each year, it just got more and more enmeshed. And so now it's at a place where I can do both things, like in a way that's balancing. So I'm not getting burnt out on optometry, but also like the reality of it is I need the income, right? So it's like I'm also not putting a ton of pressure on Fierce Clarity to like have to make X amount of consistent revenue.
Yeah, bills don't care about your metaphysical being.
Period.
That's real, man.
They're going to be
But
there.
I mean, I do see a world in which this will be my primary source of income. But you know, everything is like a growth process
In due time.
In
Do
due
you have
time.
any advice, anything you want to say to people that are like, you know what, I really want to take this risk. You know what I mean, I like my career, but I want to do something different. What is any advice you have for those individuals that are kind of like stuck in their head about, you know, doing something different with their 9 to 5 is?
Well, what you really need to do is get a journal and whatever self-help books speak to you about getting clear about what it is you want. The problem is we do not ask ourselves, what do I want? Right? What do you want? What do my parents want? What does society want? What does my family want? But what do I want? Right?
Jibs.
And when you ask yourself that question, a lot of times, you know, the first things that come up are super superficial, right? I want $1 million. I want this. Like, you know, it's just dumb stuff. But if you kind of sit with that for a while, you start to have, you know, I want freedom. I want flexibility.
Right.
I want to spend more time with my family. Like, I want to be passionate about work. Like, you start to kind of get to the root of things. So my advice is to spend some time with yourself, building your own self-awareness, so that way you can understand what it is you want. Because once, you know, you get that clarity, it's so easy to navigate, and it's so much easier to say, okay, if I know I want freedom of time, right, I can't be looking at jobs that are asking me to work more than X amount of hours per week, right? If I want more time with my family, then I need to be, okay, how can I, maybe you're going to be coaching their teams or whatever the case may
Right.
be, but like, it's a lot easier to be intentional from a place of clarity as opposed to just focusing so much on how miserable the current situation is. You have to focus that energy instead on like discovering what is the ideal situation.
This is going to help people.
For sure. You are definitely
Yeah.
Do you sell journals? Because this is the front
Yeah,
of a
this is
journal.
Yes,
crazy.
I sell
Okay, cool.
journals
Just
that
making
say
sure.
ask, believe, receive. And I always tell people, you know, there is so much power in putting a pen to paper. And even ask, believe, receive, right? Like that process of manifesting and that process of being a conscious co-creator of your reality. I mean, I was miserable at work, bro. I was commuting an hour each way. I was in Houston working at a corporate company that was like dogging us. I mean, we had to see one patient every 10 minutes, seeing like 30 people a day. It was terrible.
Be
and
a doctor,
just,
they said.
You're in the iPhone.
right?
Fun, they
and
said.
it's like, you getting paid okay, but I'm working till 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays,
Okay.
and then
On
having
Saturdays.
Getting paid. Okay.
I'm not
Right.
working on Saturday for nobody.
no, but that's what I was doing.
That's
So
so
it's
late.
like, they're breaking you off to be at work until 6:30 on Saturday. Like,
But they
Take some of
rich.
this
Some
shit
people
back.
say
I'm
that's the
cool.
hustle. That's what it's all about, the money.
To some people,
If you're
right?
unhappy, it ain't the hustle no more,
People
though.
take a nap
It
before
was
you go out.
miserable, and I mean, for me, it was, and I was scared, and I was stuck in it too. Like, I didn't know how to
Yeah.
get out of it. I was just complaining all the time, like, this sucks. Meanwhile, I was like doing a yoga teacher training and like doing like life coaching and trying all this stuff, right, to figure out what I wanted to do. And truly, like, what gave me the courage is like my dad used to always be like, well, just quit. You can get another job. Like, if you feel
Support.
this way,
That's
just
to support people. That's
Yeah.
all.
you'll
man.
get another job.
for telling me.
And some life changes happened in my personal life, and I said, yeah, I'm quitting this job. This sucks. Like, I don't care that this is such a high amount of money. I'm not doing it. And even so, I made a decision then to take a pay cut. Even now, right, I work part-time, so it's like I don't make nearly the amount of money some of my peers do from optometry, but that was 5 years ago when I made that decision. And now I get paid more to teach a 60-minute yoga class than I make a whole day working as an optometrist. And so it's like
Days are numbered,
that,
optometry.
Whoa.
period.
Back talk.
I mean, but it's
The days
not.
are numbered.
But
Ask, believe,
again, right?
receive.
That
Ask,
speaks
believe,
to
receive.
that speaks to getting clear about what you want, right? I was miserable in 2016 in my job. I hated it. I knew I didn't want to do it, but I had no idea. How do you make a business about yoga? What does that even mean? Like, what are we talking about? You're going to talk to somebody about like your vibes, your chakras? Like, who's going to take you seriously?
Right.
You know, I like have all these thoughts and fears, but my advice, sorry, that's a long-winded answer, but my advice is to, number one, get clear about what you want and then just start. You know, when I started Fierce Clarity, is anybody gonna, you know what, how is this gonna be received?
There's also the added pressure of, but you're a doctor.
Yeah.
So people looking at you like,
you were a
what are you
doctor.
doing that stuff for? You're a doctor.
Yeah, but I mean,
hate
it's
this
like,
shit.
but again, you got to get clear about why did I become a doctor, right? Because
Get
I
clear.
like science.
Oh, she said clarity, clear.
Yeah, for sure. No,
Million
But I
times.
mean, but that
Buzzword,
because that
baby.
is, that is the brand. You know what I mean? I really
that's
live
real.
it. Like, I'm not one of those people who's just selling people hype, like acting, one way and really I'm another. Like, I keep it 100, and I think it's just like you have to know, like, you are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul, right?
Okay.
You got to steer the ship.
Totally.
So if you are not,
Holding
if you
bars.
don't know where you're going, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there?
Bars in here.
Going crazy.
I do want to say, I feel like we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and a quote we got a couple times is like, you got to have your 9 to 5 be your first investor. And it sounds
absolutely.
like that's what you did.
Well, I mean, you have to think about it, right? Like with any investment, there's added pressure, right? So when you are forcing your business to generate all of your income, now you have squeezed creativity out of it, right?
Now
you
you're
have
stressed.
you're stressed, right? Oh God, like, oh my God, a lot of people didn't like this post. So you're tripping off the wrong stuff because you
you
putting
like
all
that.
this pressure on this entity, whereas if you can just kind of like treat it like a seed, right, and your income can water it. And it took me a long time to realize, like, now I'm at a place where I'm like very, very comfortable doing both things, right? Like for the longest time I was like, I don't want to be an eye doctor, I gotta make my bit. And it's like, again, I was putting pressure on my business to work in a way that, like, it just was at its beginning stages and it wasn't meant to be that way. And so it's like there are different types of businesses, right? Some that are going to scale really quickly, some that there are a lot of different types of businesses, but when you allow your business to grow and develop as it's meant to without the added pressure of having to provide for your entire lifestyle, I think you're able to pour so much more into it.
100. I'm with you.
No, that's
I
real.
get it.
Not get it too big.
Podcast scale slowly, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, I mean, y'all know we've
while.
been doing this. We've all been doing this since the same time. I legally started Fierce Clarity in 2016.
Real nigga, that's a good year.
Sure, yeah, that's
Yeah, so I mean, y'all
we was
get
handing out
it,
pens and hats.
right? Y'all get it.
Speaking into phone.
The slow start.
Yeah,
man.
But it's like, since we're here, shun not the struggle, right? Like, it's a part of the story and it's a part of the process. And like, I really subscribe to the concept of 10,000 hours. And it's like, what really influenced my entrepreneurial journey is a quote by Tony Robbins. He said, and I read this maybe like in 2015 when I was on my whole like eat, pray, love vibe. But it was like people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. And the problem is most people are giving up way too early when it's like, you don't know what your dream was meant to be, right? Maybe it was not going to pop until year 9, but you gave up in year 1.5 because it wasn't moving the way you wanted
That's
to.
bars right there.
So,
Wow. Hold on,
This is gonna help.
This is crazy.
yeah, so I mean
Hold on.
that's when I started Fierce Clarity. I said I'm gonna
Take
give
notes.
it 10 years. I'm not gonna
real,
be
man.
so influenced in what happens from year to year. And here we are, now we're doing cutting sew manufacturing, about to drop activewear. We've got the business model has
Activewear coming off.
evolved.
Y'all heard that or not? The
Period.
activewear
Summer
coming.
2021, we got y'all covered.
Activewear
The flyest.
crazy.
The
Take a moment.
flyest.
Is that exclusive?
The flyest.
Is that a PreGame Podcast exclusive?
It is. This is the first time I'm
He love
announcing.
those.
That's the
He
first
love
time I'm
those.
announcing.
That's
Appreciate that.
No, honestly, and she
Fierce
said
Clarity
it. She
activewear
said it
coming.
like mildly, but the cut and sew aspect, like that's a differentiator.
It's
like, a lot of
huge.
people-
Crazy.
No, it's huge. But my thing is quality, right? And so it's like I'm on this journey. When I started Fierce Clarity, it was a wellness retreat company, right? Today, after the pandemic, we are an online yoga and activewear company. And so 10 years is a lot of time for something to evolve and something to grow. But like when I started, I had never taught a yoga class before. I hadn't done these things. But in giving myself 10 years, I'm also not as like, I give it space to breathe and I am not putting pressure on it. It's like, okay, now if in not year 9.5, we still at that same
Right.
point.
Not
Then
yet.
that's
Right.
letting you know.
That's
Reevaluate.
You had a good run,
Yep.
but it's time to close the page.
And that doesn't mean it wasn't a successful run. It just maybe
you had a
didn't grow
good
to
run,
the point that
yeah.
you wanted it to.
Absolutely.
sure you had fun.
Absolutely. And it was, you got something out of it. You
Yeah.
learned, you grew as a person.
Yeah.
Did the pandemic help your business grow? Being you just said you're
Insane.
online.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I know the pandemic was bad, but there's a lot of good
changed.
shit that happened.
It was terrible, but I think the best thing that happened is it forced people to be still. And like I was telling you,
Yeah, he
right?
knows.
Like y'all talking about
My nigga was-
Hey.
the stillest.
Yeah,
Nobody was more still. Don't move. I can't. Don't worry about it. I'm not.
You're really trapped in your own brain. That sucks.
Crazy. Trapped in
my
my
mind.
trapped in my hallucinations.
No, but truly, I
Good-
mean,
good jokes
like
now. I'm having a joke
I
about
was
this.
saying, I know it's kind of messed
Thank
up.
God.
There's version
yeah,
on the
this is what
menu.
A year ago,
we
I
joke
would
about
not.
that.
A year ago today, I would not make a
year
joke
ago
about
today,
that.
There was nothing funny about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I would fight a nigga for
was much
joking
darker
about it.
this
a year
time.
ago. We'll fight.
Dang, that's crazy when you
Yeah.
think about it for real,
Crazy.
for real.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I joke about it once a week. Honestly, I have a problem.
I'm so glad
Something
you
wrong
did
with
it.
me.
Coping mechanism.
Maybe that is what it is. I don't know.
Look at her getting her other doctor bag.
All right, right.
Maybe what it is.
That'll be 125.
Since you're dropping gems, D-Rich, I feel like evolution is a big part of entrepreneurship. You know what I mean?
Totally.
This idea of trying to figure out when to evolve. How do you cope with, or how do you think about, okay, how am I going to evolve and make Fierce Clarity better each month or each week?
Well, I think it comes from, number one, a place of humility and understanding that, like, the ground, as an entrepreneur, the ground is never stable under your feet. And you need to always be able to move and to, like, go with it and be okay with the fact that what worked 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago doesn't work today. And like, you have to be humble enough to say like, okay, I'm going to let that
Right.
go.
Oh, that one was trash. They ain't like
Yeah.
that one. Okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's cool. Like, I mean, and then as you get to know your audiences, y'all know your audience tells you what they want, or your customers
Fact.
will kind of tell
Yes,
you. And
they
like,
do.
you let the people you are serving drive your evolution, right? So for me, I was just inspired to have hoodies because we were in the pandemic, right? And I'm like, want to be cozy, but I'm not trying to be bummy like all the time. Like, I want to look fly, but Also, I think a lot of this stuff's lame, so I'm just gonna make my own stuff.
Making my own shit.
But then it's like people are like, well, where can I get the biker shorts? Where do I get the top to wear under it? Where do I get this? Where do I get that? Where do I get? And it's like,
I'll tell you in 2 weeks.
I got
Don't
you.
worry about it. I got you.
Give me some time.
you know what I mean?
with
So it's like, okay, I got you.
You're looking to spend, aren't you?
You want some nice, okay, I know exactly what you want. And so it's like, that's just an example of how you allow the customer, or the person you're serving, to help you evolve. But I think it's time to evolve, because that's just the way of life. Like, launch and iterate, right? Be ready to pivot. Like, these are key principles in any successful business. So I think the moment you start feeling like you have it figured out and you've got a handle on it,
you take a L.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Damn,
It's a lot.
You've been giving us a lot of gems.
Lots of gems.
Entrepreneurs,
I
listen
had a
up.
personal question.
Yeah,
I got-
let's
y'all
hear
still
it. Let's
got-
talk.
you know what I'm
We
saying?
can
Go
have
ahead.
personal
Not personal.
questions.
I meant for me. I just
Okay.
want to know if they fix glasses yet. So I have an issue with my eye, and it's always a thick ass lens. Have they made them thin yet?
What's like your contact lens prescription?
I don't know.
Why don't you get LASIK?
I'm afraid.
Don't be. I got
Don't be.
LASIK. I got
Okay.
LASIK. LASIK's been performed for 30 years now. So it's pretty much a standard of care procedure. The main complications people have had with LASIK in the past have been eradicated by the improvements in LASIK technology. And if you want to come to LA, the doctor we work with, he did LASIK for LeBron James,
Going out there.
Anthony Davis, Chris Paul. So I mean, if it's good enough for LeBron,
That's true.
I'm
It's
good
sure
enough
it's
for
good
you.
enough for
That is
you.
absolutely twice over. 3-4
So
times
if anybody
over.
needs a LASIK consult in LA, I mean, I got you. But no, seriously, you can pay paying for the highest index lens. So when they're like, this is going to make your lens thinner and you have to pay this extra money, that's absolutely mandatory for you.
Yes.
That's going to work. Plastic frames are going to help hide lens thickness too.
That's the crazy thing. I used to do that, and my lens would still stick out.
Yeah,
like the
but you
plastic
just got to
boards.
get it thinner. I mean, you got to.
It was a
Did
magnifying glass.
people call you out about it?
My
or-
head used to tilt to the side because the lens was so heavy.
So
It was
what are
bad.
you doing right now? Are you wearing
I'm just
contacts?
living.
Thugging it out.
You gotta get LASIK. I hate when I see people doing that. I'm like, where your glasses at then? Oh, I don't wear
Now
them.
you're in trouble.
Yeah,
That's
I-
how they hit me with blood pressure. You don't take any medicine.
Nope.
You just live it.
I just live.
What the fuck are you doing?
I can get by.
She's very upset.
The thing is, it's just one eye, so I can get by. Generally
Just to
speaking,
get by.
Oh, it's
Must be
just
nice.
the one eye.
So my eye's
You might
injured.
look into contacts.
I hate touching my eye every morning.
Hey man, you gotta get used to it.
Can't do it.
I hate it. I'll
Part
never
of the process.
get
You
contact.
gotta
You don't
play
like
it.
That was my
contacts?
personal question. I'm not looking to LASIK.
Yeah,
my wife
no, I
wants
mean-
LASIK bad, but I'm cool.
I mean, you should do LASIK. There's a lot of great LASIK surgeons, really everywhere. But I mean, you don't have to be concerned about it, but you do have to do your research because surgeon error is a complication risk, right? So I always tell patients, you know, people will come to me and be like, "Oh, well, I heard advertisement and they said LASIK's $399 an eye," and I'm like, "Okay."
Getting used tires.
I mean, what are you?
$400. I would have been
Why
got it
would
if it was that
you
cheap.
know,
It's
what
not.
are you? No, that's not how much it costs. Number one, that's a bait and switch. Number two, the nationwide average is between $1,500 to $2,500 per eye for LASIK, right? And most places offer that paid over a 2-year period with 0% financing. That's like your standard LASIK situation.
Get your
Used
LASIK
car on
machine.
Because
your face.
insurance is not
Just
paid
laid
for
it out
right?
for you.
So I'm just saying that's what it is. So when places are advertising, I'll do this for $399. That's a lie. Number
Yeah,
one, if you go
That's your
in
first
there,
payment.
if you go in there, it's like,
False
oh,
creed.
guess what? You know, actually, your prescription is going to be $1,500.
but we've already started, so don't move.
Right.
We have payment
crazy.
plans. Don't worry.
So I saw you post on IG. I think it was like last week. You mentioned how your dream job. You've been able to intertwine physical clarity
Yeah.
and your job as the optometrist. So now you work on Fairfax. So I want to know how
That's
you've been
tight.
able to take the Fairfax is one of the coldest streets in America.
It's
You know what I'm
sick.
saying? It's very cool to be. I want to get back
Ear to
there
ear,
somehow, some way.
smiling. Look
I
at
mean,
her.
can you believe
No,
it?
Fairfax is crazy.
I mean, you
It's
said,
fire.
how did I do it? God, like.
Well, no,
for
I'm
sure.
saying I shout to him, but I was
That's my dog.
I guess.
Big ups.
He's
Shout out to my
shout out
dog.
to my guy. But I was saying how you've been able to further grow Fierce Clarity by having that cold ass location.
Yeah,
on
so
Fairfax.
if you are unfamiliar with Fairfax, it is like the streetwear capital of, the world. There's like Supreme and there was Dope, started in Indiana. There's the Hundreds, Melody Asani, Golf, like all of these streetwear brands. I think they just opened up a Grailed store over there. like when the rappers sign their new deal, they like
go there.
the
They
label
go
gives
the
them
advance over
$15K
there.
to come to Fairfax. So like, you're a rapper now. Head to Fairfax.
We'll get you something. Take care of yourself.
So
do
the
that.
fact that I'm an optometrist over there is crazy because like, here I am and like, oh God, I never want to be an optometrist. This sucks. And it's like, if I gotta be an optometrist,
Let me do it here.
I mean, at least this is the absolute best place on earth. But what working on Fairfax, the biggest lesson that I learned working on Fairfax that I've applied to Fierce Clarity is just the power of branding and like an identity for the brand, and also doubling down on it, and you either fuck with it or you don't. But it's like there's no in between, and we're not trying to be vanilla. We're not trying to be for everyone. We're trying to be like aggressively who we're for. So like what I love about Fairfax is like, the kids lined up outside of Supreme look like they're lined up outside of Supreme. The girls going into Dolls Kill look like they're going. The people going into golf, you know what I mean? They look like Tyler, the Creator type of people. So it's like the fact that these stores and these people have created such strong brands that even the people who are attracted to it all look the same really like was such a great lesson. And like, you don't have to, the power of cool, right? The power of hype, the power of clout, and just like making something hot that you think is cool and focusing on that and letting the right people be attracted to it, as opposed to like, say if I was trying to make like, if I would have launched Fierce Clarity merch with like 25 products, trying to make sure I had something for everybody. But what if somebody doesn't like this message? I should do another message, or, thinking about that. As opposed to like on Fairfax, it's like you go into the store and it's like, yeah, this is what it is.
Right.
If you don't see anything you like in here, then it's not for you.
I'm not gonna convince you to fuck with me.
Period.
Like,
They just are like,
You have a good
it
day,
is
bro.
what
We'll
it
see you
is.
later.
Hey.
That's all you can do.
all y'all shoes 500? Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
See y'all.
Yeah. And then for every 2 out is 6 in, saying like, this is exactly what I want.
These
Like,
only 500?
Bro,
Damn.
I seen these on
Thank
your
you.
IG, bro. I had to come
yeah,
get
it's
them.
really cool to, and also just like, I mean, our patients actually are older, even though Fairfax skews younger, but it is kind of cool to be over there with the youth and see what's going on with
They keep
like,
you
the
young,
hip-
won't they?
Look at you, the youth.
Child. Even though you gotta,
The
you
kids.
can't be in your what are those over there.
They'll
They're,
get you. Ooh.
You
they
cannot
are
be.
not.
You in the right spot?
You never know, because like YouTubers and all, like those people live out there, so it's like I'm not ever trying to end up on nobody's comedy YouTube. Like it's just
TikTokers
never
will
that
get
deep.
you.
Come on, somebody
get you
walk up to
bad.
you like, oh, can I ask you?
Y'all went to get some
No.
glasses, and that's what she had on. Yeah, that'd be terrible.
One day, when I first moved, so I moved to LA from Houston, but like I was in Houston, working downtown. The main business in Houston is oil and gas. So like oil and gas
Racism.
executive. But you know what? They are so polite with it. It reminds me of Indiana racism.
Excuse me,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Pardon
hey,
me,
ma'am.
racist.
Pardon me,
Okay.
Yeah.
I do not like you.
Excuse me. Yes,
me.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They might go be calling you. They're
Yeah.
gonna call you when they leave, but they're gonna say yes,
The
ma'am.
nicest little nigger walked in here. You should have seen her.
She was
Oh, she
smart
was so
too.
polite. One of the good ones.
So I mean, it
One of the
reminds
good
me of Indiana in that way. Like, I like that good old fashioned,
Yeah.
smile in your face racism.
Yeah.
That's a lot better.
I don't feel like I'm in danger.
Right. I
So y'all
prefer-
racist in here. Let me get on that.
I'm gonna leave.
Right.
It's best you do.
I can go? Cool.
See y'all.
But
Versus,
I would. Yeah.
what you doing in here?
Well, hello.
Versus slapping the noose on the table.
Versus the Confederate flag belt buckle,
Yeah.
just
It's
firm
best
in
you
your
leave.
face.
Is it? I will.
Thank you for letting me know. I'm out.
It looked like I should have left when I came in here, but I wasn't sure.
Those,
You know what? I'm sorry for
those,
coming in.
Lovecraft country vibes.
Hell nah. Good times.
But when I left Houston, I moved to. So in Houston, I was like wearing a white coat to work. Wearing these glasses. Like, hi, I'm Dr. Richardson.
Yeah, it's tough.
Trying to.
I like your
fit
impersonations.
in.
They made me laugh.
yeah, they're funny.
I mean, that's the vibe. Those were the vibes. And then I moved to LA, and like my boss is like had this crazy Range Rover, this house in the Hollywood Hills, this dumb big pool, and like everything was like so glitz and glamour. And then I'm like at work, and literally I'm on Fairfax, and Blueface is like shooting a music video.
I wonder what that guy's
And this
up to.
this was that
Yeah,
was
some
back at
years
the
back,
Tatiana
yeah.
Prime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blueface, baby.
We ain't seen him since. He was
Yeah, it's
like
tough.
having a lot of girls. I feel like fighting his mom and stuff
Yeah,
on
he's got
Instagram.
family issues.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
tough.
crazy.
Yeah,
Do better, brother.
Hope we got into real estate.
Hope he's in real estate too.
Hopefully. But anyway, when I saw him filming the video, I was like, child, we are not in Kansas anymore.
I'm going to be ready for work tomorrow. Fuck this.
Like, oh, this is getting down like that. Okay.
Okay.
We ain't in Texas. Let me take off these bummy shoes.
Yeah, I got to come. So I got to bust ass at work.
Okay. Okay.
I'm ready now.
Okay.
Some non-skid shoes.
Right. I actually got these shoes I got from, I didn't even know it was lame at the time. Oh, these are Golden Goose. Don't front on me now. Even my bummy joints are fly.
I didn't even look down. I knew better.
I was literally just, you know what I'm saying, taking a gander.
About to hit me, my brother and sister always hit me with the what are those, so I'm always aggressively defensive. But
look down there.
We used to go to y'all knew, like back in college, it was like, oh, I don't wear sneakers. Like, I don't wear high heels.
Every last one's funny.
So then the fact that I talk like this is honestly
You should
insane.
be an actress, probably.
I know people always tell me that. It's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna end up on television.
It's not too late. You can run the Issa Rae
Go ahead,
tomorrow.
go crazy.
It's my patience. I mean, my patients are always like, oh my god, you need to be on TV.
Hey.
Cut the check.
The Self-Care Sunday on one of the episodes of Insecure with Slap. I mean,
it'd be crazy.
Yeah, but
well
I mean,
written.
I think like again, right? That speaks to being present and just like manifesting what you want. And I know the lifestyle I want to live, right? So there are different types of entrepreneurs. Like some build businesses to fit around the lifestyle they want. Other have have monetary goals or world-changing goals or whatever your underlying reason is for starting a business. But I think being present to being in where I am right now, it's like, okay, I know I don't want to be in patient care forever, right? But you have landed in LA for a reason. And it's like I keep crossing paths with like people and like just being present to the opportunities presented to me. And so like right now I do feel like I am like fierce clarity. The pandemic has brought like a attention from the right people, right? Mm-hmm. Like it hasn't outwardly changed very much or like doesn't look very different, but now there are bigger eyes on it. And like even my clients, right? My clients during the pandemic have been Whole Foods, have been Netflix, have been Flow, like have been, like I have corporate
bands. You Bandcamp. You the Bandcamp of
yeah,
yoga.
I mean, I do. I have corporate clients,
Contracts have been signed.
Y'all know the rules.
But I'm saying
Big dog gonna eat. A big dog gonna eat no matter what.
Yeah. The interview questions. This nigga stupid.
No.
Big dog gonna eat.
But I say
He
all
didn't
that
ask me
to
about the
say-
Netflix deal.
Oh, these are cute. These questions are.
Why y'all doing me like
This
that?
nigga want to talk about Puma.
No, I'm not saying. But again, right? This is all new, and this is all just like being present to like I know what it is that I'm trying to create, and luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? So I'm prepared, and then as the opportunities continue to come, like I'll continue to show up, and like opportunity begets opportunity, and like that's how you grow, and that's how you keep moving forward.
Listen,
Going crazy.
I appreciate the bars.
Yeah, this is great.
You've been going crazy this whole episode.
Thanks, guys.
I did want to ask a question about the merch. So I see
Yes.
the triangles there. Can you just walk us through the process?
So let's talk about the merch.
I'm putting pressure on you about this merch. I got a problem.
Okay,
You
we
didn't
gonna
cut and
talk
sew
about.
enough cloth.
No,
Let me
I
tell
paid
you.
big money for a black 3X Fierce Clarity sweatshirt.
Okay, let me tell you, I was a little bit, I was on a shoestring budget
I
when we
understand.
started.
And
We
a friend
had
of mine
some
told me how expensive it is.
limited
Those X's keep growing.
parameters.
I get it.
But okay, so the concept behind the merch, and if you don't have your merch, what are you waiting on? FierceClarity.shop, cop up. Okay, so what the concept is, again, like I said, right? Sorry, guys.
You're fine.
What I said is that I wanted something that people actually wanted to wear.
Yes.
That was the first thing. Like how often, first of all, I never get those free promo t-shirts. I do not want to wear your crap on my chest and like a raggedy Gildan tee. Like I just don't want it. And
What if you sell them
so
Gildan tees?
Hey,
thinking
niggas
about-
sell Gildan tees.
I bet
I've seen
Gildan.
it.
Out the
I know
gate.
for a fact Gildan would do anything. They would pay any amount of money to stop being that name.
I know they would, but it's the most easily.
Switch it up.
It's the
Jordan Lowe
easily.
shit ain't no
right?
They're pissed
I
about
know
that.
they're sick, but it's just the easiest one. You know,
It
it's the
is.
low hanging fruit of the trope.
They at the
but
corporate offices
just
pressed.
sick.
What do we do?
Sick.
Nothing. They got us
Sick.
again.
They said
That's
Gildan
orders
tea
from Black
You gotta
again.
embrace that shit.
So fucking.
You can't.
You gotta embrace. If you're Gildan, embrace it.
I said, they still
Yeah,
buying
man,
it.
we'll
Niggas
slap
just
your
talking
logo
shit.
on
They
here.
still buy it though.
So I wanted it to be something that I wanted it to be something that people are going to wear. So, like, you've put this on. Does this feel comfortable to you?
Yes.
Like, it's one of the more comfortable. Like, it's something you actually would put on to feel
cozy.
cozy.
Cozy's the word. Yes.
Exactly.
Cozy, yes.
So, my intention was to create something cozy that that sweatshirt that you reach for when you just want to feel comfortable, right? Like, that was the intention behind doing, like, better materials or better quality, right? And the messaging behind it is, like, this is actually what is on my journals. Like, ask, believe, receive. And I really, this is like the essence of Fierce Clarity, because I really am here to empower people to be a conscious co-creator of your reality. You have not because you ask not, right? Like, you're asking for the bare minimum, and that's why you're getting it.
Nah, that spoke to me for real.
So, I mean, that's why it's like, it's just simple, right? It's ask, which is like the number one thing I think we all are asking for too little out of so many areas of our life. Believe, right? You have to believe that you're worthy of having what you're asked for. And that holds a lot of us back, right? We want something, but we really don't believe we can have it. So it's like building that belief. That's a muscle that has to be built. And then the receive really comes from, again, right, adding that metaphysical element, because you can't do it on your own. Like, there's no way for you to make what you want happen. You have to be open, and you have to allow it to come to you in whatever form it is meant to be. And so the messaging for me is really just about being intentional and creating a life that you actually want to live, and a life that you feel healthy and happy and supported and fulfilled living in.
Yeah, because as a man, I was like, do I want to have Fierce Clarity on my back? Nah, it's cool. The hoodie's fire. I'll wear it.
Yeah, it's but I mean, it's like, but yeah, that's
it's in
also,
the back too.
But that's
but
also part of it, right? It's like, I don't want it on the front, but
right.
It's like kind of fly on the back. And it's like, as I do, like the summer drop, Kyrie, we got extended sizing.
How far are you extending these sizes?
I mean, how far do I need to? It's
3X,
unisex. 3X is okay. 3X is the upper limit.
Hey, them 4X niggas is struggling.
3X is the upper limit.
It's that fucked up
4X niggas, I don't know, but the 3X, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good
look,
to go.
I got you from my lips to God's
I
ears.
appreciate it. I pay extra. I get it.
Believe, receive.
Well, I mean, I actually don't think it's
receive.
I actually don't think it's extra. But see, at the time, when I first started, I didn't have a wholesale account. My friend put me on. I was like, oh, you just go downtown, you go to the vendor,
you in the right
buy
spot.
the stuff.
Oh,
yeah. So I mean, like downtown LA is like,
tight.
yeah.
We don't have
well, the problem is what happens when you go back to re-up and it's like, we don't got that no more. It's
Yeah,
like,
for real.
oh,
For real.
okay.
That's the
So I
frightening
learned
thing.
a lot. I learned a lot about, product development and fulfillment. And so, like, really the first run of the sizing was that they just genuinely didn't have inventory. So it was like,
Yeah, you can't
I went to this. I was like, man, I'm about to. Shit. What? I would have.
but I got you for the summer drop. We got some really fly stuff. We got some things for the ladies. We got some unisex things. So, like, stuff for the men. I like Fierce Clarity on the back because, like, at first I was just talking to somebody about lunch about this. She's like asking, how do you feel about like cross promoting your business on like your personal account, or like, people get annoyed like, oh, you're keep talking about this. It's like, bruh, if you don't rep your set, who's gonna rep it for you?
Right.
Nobody's
like,
gonna promote your shit for you.
Like, come on. And so it's like that Fairfax vibe of like, okay, no, like, actually we're not going to run from it. It's like, I'm rocking this Fierce Clarity. It's hot. Like, this is what we're doing.
Energy.
Let's talk.
The energy been crazy.
Been fire.
Is this new? Do you guys like new D-Rich?
No.
Just
So
no.
the energy's not new. The messaging's definitely new.
The delivery
for us
as
at least.
well.
Yeah. The energy's always been there. It was just a little more,
Turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Level 10.
She about to hit
I knew
me.
you in.
Yeah.
Level
She
10.
She always
she might about to hit me.
definitely look serious on campus. Like, damn, let me get myself together. Man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
because
Depending
we were
on how you
young.
catch
We like,
Yes.
oh man, that's
Get
Yes,
your 1
man.
p.m. Oh,
How
she's
you doing,
focused.
man?
Okay.
oh, she's grown. We're just kids.
I just want you to go to class. I'm going to class. I ain't no bullshit.
Meanwhile.
calling niggas nuggets.
Last question. So, yoga. I feel
Yeah.
like yoga is kind of not. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will, but I feel like yoga is kind of foreign to the black community.
It
especially
is,
for
absolutely.
black men.
Absolutely.
So, like, just go ahead, give us your, do your Dr. D Rich thing, get us involved in yoga, get us excited about it. Why should more black people do yoga?
So yoga fundamentally is just moving your body with your breath. That's it. Like, that's all you need to do yoga is your body and your breath. And yoga is really foreign to the Black community just because I feel like, you know, even myself, right? Is it demonic? Like, you know, that's the vibes
the
that
Buddha
people
thing,
kind
all
of
that
give
kind
you.
of stuff,
Yeah, like when
yeah.
you're younger, I feel like there was, especially like now things are a little bit looser, but
A lot of grandmas was nothing
you know,
on the yoga.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's the first time
Yeah,
I'm hearing of that.
I've never
I didn't
Really?
know.
Are you
associated with
guys
that
serious?
shit. Nah.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I didn't
maybe
know
because
there was
I
no
grew
Lil
up.
Nas X with the yoga.
Maybe
Yeah,
because
Lil
I
Nas
grew
X is
up
about
in
to
the
go.
church.
I did too, but they was
Satan
worried
in
about
there.
other shit, not yoga. Damn.
Yeah, I never thought it was some evil shit.
That was a new
I'm
one.
weak.
No, but he was ready. He was like,
He
nah,
was
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, there's
That's some
one.
evil shit.
Y'all
What's
know
that?
me.
10% of us. 10% of us. Like,
Wow.
Still the same OG.
Okay, maybe not
for sure.
demonic.
I had to ask some older church folks about yoga.
You gotta
Yeah,
Okay,
we gotta ask Grammy. Honestly.
Ask Grammy.
She don't like shit though. She don't like shit. So she probably don't.
She's probably not with it. But no, okay, well, for any number of reasons, right? There's an unfamiliarity with the practice of yoga. And as I was getting into the practice is actually why I decided to teach. I had no intention of teaching yoga, but what I realized is that, like, I would go to yoga classes and I wouldn't like them for, like, you know, because I'm particular about everything in my life. So, like, as naturally, like, as I got into yoga, I became very particular about type of teacher, type of class, type of this, type of that. And I could recognize that most classes are really geared at, like, intermediate to advanced students. So if you're just a person walking off the street, like, trying to take a yoga class, it's going to be absolutely impossible, right? So many people have that experience of going to a yoga class and it being too hard or being miserable or being just weird. And it's like, wow, yoga's not for me. I'm never doing that again. And so what I decided to do was like, okay, no, I'm going to present this practice in a way that is accessible because, again, to go back to Bali, right, I witnessed sleepy time yoga completely transform my energy, the way I could relate to the world. And you know, if it can do this for me, who was on like level like 0 to 100 real quick, if yoga can bring me to this place of like wholeness and healthiness and happiness, like this is a real tool that like other people need as well. So, I always say when you think about starting yoga, you know, my teacher says that like everybody in the world could teach yoga and there still wouldn't be enough yoga teachers because everyone needs something different at different time points in their life. So recognizing that like your experience of yoga will vary from like teacher to teacher and season to season. And if you take a class and it doesn't resonate or it doesn't feel like it's for you, that doesn't mean the practice isn't for you. It means that teacher is for you, or maybe a different style of yoga is for you. So the style of yoga I teach what's called like feeling focused yoga. And I just categorize my yoga classes based on end feeling state, right? So there's relax, refresh, refocus, or reconnected. So some classes are more spiritual. Some classes are more like power, more like actual about physicality. Other classes are more just like full body, moving with the breath type of movements, but they're going to give you an end energetic state. And so I tell people that you should approach yoga that way because some days you might need a relaxing yoga class, right? Versus other days you need a more challenging yoga class. Or some days if you're feeling all over the place, you might need a more like spiritual yoga class, a more introspective, like meditative yoga class. Exactly. So understanding that there's different types of yoga, there's different yoga teachers, there's different styles. So it's kind of like, you know, being at a restaurant. If you just don't like one thing on the menu, you don't write the whole restaurant off. So that's always kind of like the advice I give people. I mean, my yoga classes, I teach yoga on Instagram live for free on Mondays at 5:30, and then I have a subscription or 8:30 Eastern.
Gotcha. Cool.
And then I archive them, so they're on IGTV, and so I have like a library of like kind of mini yoga classes, and then I have an all access pass for like subscribers, and they can get access to like all those classes that are easier sorted and also full length yoga classes. So I offer that like as a way for people to kind of get into the practice, but you don't even have to practice with me. You know, you can start on YouTube and look at like beginning yoga, but I would always say it's better to start in person just because like for obvious reasons, like being able to be with a teacher. And that's how I started at the yoga studio in Bloomington. Actually, I did the new student special, and the new student special is usually going to be like $30 or something like that. You get unlimited classes for a month. Any studio is going to offer beginner yoga classes, so like you'll be able to go and like learn, you know, what to do and how to move into the practice. But honestly, you know, with the pandemic, it really has highlighted the need for like online yoga instruction and like what happens if you can't go, or what happens if you can't send a person.
Yeah, moving your body with your
person.
breath is bad in the pandemic.
Exactly. I mean, it's crazy, but honestly, it really drove up the demand for yoga because all of a sudden people recognize like, wow, I'm stressed out. Like,
super stressed.
Yeah, and I don't have, you know, all of the normal coping mechanisms are closed, right?
Can't go to
There's
the
no
bar.
bars, there's no sports, there's no gambling.
Strip club closed.
A lot of vices out there for people that were
Well, they
taken
all
away.
opening
Weed
back
man
up,
backed
so.
up, and they can't call me back.
This was fun.
This was really fun.
Nah, this was actually phenomenal. Let's give
Damn.
Dr. Danielle Richardson a round of applause.
Oh, it's back.
We back.
Hey, that's good. Everybody clap for Dr. Danielle Richardson, man.
Thanks for
I
having
hope
me,
there's nothing wrong with
guys.
that because that is scary.
Thanks for having me.
For sure.
This was great.
Let them
was
know
fire.
one more time.
Black
where they
men,
can
take
find
your
you.
socks off. You got to take your socks off and do yoga.
You don't have to.
Really?
Like,
You
can
can come as you are. You can come as you
That's
are.
progressive.
Yeah.
When I had to do
yeah.
yoga, it was take your socks off.
Ooh.
Now.
Why?
Bring them out. Bring them
I was
out.
told.
like,
That's what the instructor said on the
I'll see
video.
y'all.
Yeah, my feet
Socks off,
look
guys.
terrible right now.
I mean, so like if
Don't
I
feel
teach
self-conscious.
yoga, I teach yoga in my socks sometimes,
Tight.
especially if I'm cold. I mean, I'll take them off maybe in the middle of class, but
Yoga's
like,
progressing.
yeah, you
'Cause
can.
niggas walking in
It's
and be like,
chill.
socks off.
You know,
It's
it's like it's a
chill.
very,
Y'all niggas
it's a
tripping.
very
I ain't
friend
I'm about to
situation for
go.
sure.
You
Indeed.
wear socks on the
Why?
beach. Are you one of those?
No, that's ridiculous. Because sand on you, it's stupid. Take your
Some
socks.
people do
I've
that,
done it.
man.
Nah,
First time I
okay.
was like, okay, this is stupid. Why am I here?
Why
Take
do
them off.
people do that? They just don't want to show their toes.
I know a
Nike
nigga that was
socks,
dressed
man.
on the beach from head to toe once. You know him too.
Black
Name
men have a
Faith.
lot of problems sometimes.
Faith, y'all remember that.
You've been
Y'all
waiting.
remember.
You've been finding a way to insert my nigga into this one.
Faith was on the beach.
Here goes.
And them white pants and the but them niggas was like,
He was on a music video.
I ain't
doing,
do this to you,
Faith?
Faith.
Summer rain.
Yeah, he
Reed did
he
this
did
shit.
that. He don't care about it.
That's his closest friend on the show
my
too.
nigga, so I can do it.
Dead.
But he remember.
I'll be beat you up one day.
He probably
Yeah.
will.
Boy, that would be a battle of the ages,
Hey.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong.
I would pay money.
That one of Asian.
I would pay money to see that.
Yeah, Bob,
Yeah,
definitely,
Godzilla versus
sign me
Kong,
up
for
for
sure.
sure. Popcorn.
Honestly, I don't know who. I don't know who would win.
Planet
Yeah, I don't know.
Much
I
better
don't know.
shape. I'm dead. I don't stand a chance.
Yeah, we got 37
I gotta get
seconds.
him quick or it's over. Nigga. I
Gotta kill him in the first 2
gotta
minutes.
go fast. Second
Oh,
quarter, I'm
man.
out.
Buildings will crumble.
It honestly be fire. I know it
Yeah,
would never
I'd
happen.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Now
guys
it
are
would
sick.
honestly be fire. That's like
sick Negro.
That would be so
that's
fun.
like that Mike Tyson fight that they just
Oh
had.
yeah, Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Two
niggas
old niggas about to die.
Yeah.
Niggas,
Maybe they put the headgear on. You
Bring
know
it
what I
in.
mean? It's not for real. For
why are we
real.
doing this? This is stupid. What we doing this
I'm
for?
sorry I said it on the show, bro.
You're sweating right now.
Right,
So
laughing about it.
Right.
Get over with.
It's over.
We
All
make it.
All right, man.
Where can
Shout
I
out
find
to
you
Faith.
one last time? We did that already?
Okay,
Or do we after
guys, you can find me on Instagram at Fierce Clarity. We have all of the info you need there. You can subscribe to the All Access Pass to do Fierce Clarity Yoga on demand. You can also just join our live Instagram classes on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Central, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. You can shop Fierce Clarity at fierceclarity.shop, and you can stay tuned because this summer 2021 drop is
gonna be
about
hot.
to be fire.
Let's go.
I
Round of
will be
applause for
there.
Dr.
Round of
Danielle
applause.
Richardson again, man.
Thanks,
This was
guys. It was
fire.
so much fun.
This was tight.
Next.
Next.